Okay, welcome everybody to our Amud Yomi Shiur. Welcome to everybody here in Avos Shalom. Welcome to people who watch us on Torah Anytime or our YouTube channel. We have just started Daf Chav Beis Amud Aleph in Masechet Kiddushin, and we have people also calling. Please take your seats. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Now we have to understand one more detail regarding the halacha of Yifas Toyar. We learned yesterday that the halacha of Yifas Toyar. Yifas Toyar is literally a beautiful woman. When a Jewish soldier goes to war, and the Torah acknowledges the fact that that Jewish soldier, his Yetzer Hara may overcome him, and therefore there are very good-looking non-Jewish ladies at war who try to entice the soldiers. So if you take her as a captive, then while you take her for a captive and you set your eyes on her and you feel your Yetzer Hara is really strong, then the Torah, according to most explanations, most Rishonim say you may go to a private place and do what you do with her, and then on condition that later on you'll bring her home and start a 30 days process of conversion, and then she'll become your wife. That's in general. Now, if we look at the Gemara here, in the Chav Beis Amud Aleph, the fifth line from the top of the page, vehevesa, the end of the line. Line starts with the word ve'achas, and then it says vehevesa. It quotes the word in the Torah that says vehevesa. You should bring her. Melamed shelo ilchatzena b'milchoma. Vehevesa means you should bring her home, and then she has to shave her head. She has to look ugly in order to test you if you still really love her in spite of her non-attractive current look. And then it says, Lo ilchatzena b'milchama, do not press her during the war. What does that mean? So we said yesterday, I'm starting the wrong way around. I'm starting from Tosfos. Tosfos says, Lo ilchatzena b'milchama means that don't pressurize her to start the 30 days process during the war. Yeah, you may be 2 weeks in war still and 2 weeks at home. Only from 2 weeks from when you met her, you're going to finish the war and start going home, right? So then we don't say start the process now and count the 30 days from now, making it quicker for you that she should be a wife. Don't hasten the process, but only start the process after the war starts and you come home, then you start counting the 30 days, and then she becomes Jewish and your wife. Yeah. Now, that's what Tosfos learns. The Rambam says, Lo ilchatzena b'milchama means don't have relations with her in a place that is too public. I don't think it means completely public. Ilchatzena means not mamish in the middle of all the balagan. Take her to a very tzanua place and do it over there. I guess at war people behave funnily. And then comes Rashi. Rashi says, Lo ilchatzena b'milchama, says Rashi, simply don't have relations with her during the war. You can only have the first bia. The first time you're with her should only be after you come home, after the entire process is over. Wow, that's at least 30 days, if not more, from when you met her first. So now that's very funny, because that's what Rashi says, first of all. It's a very famous Machlokes Rashi Tosfos, and here it is. Rashi says the first time you can be with the Yifas Toyar is only when the whole business is over. Yeah. So then there are many questions on that. Many Rishonim ask on Rashi. You see, there's a very big Tosfos here. We're not going to go through the Tosfos. But Tosfos asks, first of all, how does that settle Yetzer Hara? Because yes, burning Yetzer Hara at war, right? A soldier at war is very different. And then what? Then what is it going to help if you only have relations with her after she's back home with you? And secondly, the Gemara says before that they better eat tmutas shchutos and not start tmutas nevelos, which means the Yifas Toyar is no. The Torah allows you to do something that would otherwise be osur, right? But the Torah is pragmatic. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows who he's dealing with, so said, okay, have this one off. But if so, according to Rashi, it's kosher lemahadrin. Why do we say that the first time you are with that Yifas Toyar is okay, kind of b'diavad reluctantly? Why? It's a chatchila. Yeah, so she has her head, I don't know, half shaven still from before. So what? She's Jewish, she's your wife. It's all good. What's a big reluctant kind of thing? Answers Tosfos, although Tosfos is not pro Rashi, but is trying to help the Zaidi. The Tosfos says like this. First of all, the Yetzer Hara, there's a concept of pas besaloi. which means if a person knows that he has what he wants available, even though he'll only get it later, it does calm down his yetzer to a point. Yeah, in other words, if the kid knows he has a candy and he's able to, to basically hold back his yetzer hara a little bit, that does help. Yeah, you won't have it now, but look, that beautiful woman will be your wife in 30, 40, 50 days. That settles him down. He won't go nuts. He won't touch her, knowing that he'll get there. That's how we explain Rashi. Regarding the Tmutas Shchutas, the fact that the fast Torah is even according to Rashi, she becomes Jewish. Tosfos and I assume Rashi and others argue on the Rambam, and they say you may force her to become Gioris. You try and convince her for 30 days, but if after 30 days she's still not convinced, yeah, she's been to Aish Discovery Seminar, to Arachim, to Hidabrut, and she's still not convinced that the Torah is the right way, and she's not Jewish, So therefore, in such a case, we say, okay, she still converts, but that's not a great conversion. Normally, you don't convert people Baal Korchom. You don't. And here she's converted against her will, and that's a Chiddush. That's why the Torah says, it's Tmutos Shchutos, it's kosher meat, it's Shochut, but I'm sorry, it verstunks, it's not the best way. One more point. We spoke yesterday about the fact that the fast Toyer may even be a married woman, right? And we asked the question regarding a Jew should not be with a goita. Yeah, midoraisa, you can't be with her if everybody knows. Midarbanan, you can't be with her even if nobody knows. Yeah, but at the end of the day, when Eshetish of a goy regarding a Jew does make a difference. In other words, if Miss Mackenzie is Mrs. or Ms. Mackenzie, does make a difference to Chaim Yankel. It's all the same. And all of a sudden we see, right, I'm going back, even Eshes Ish, what's Eshes Ish by Goy? So there are several explanations. According to the Rambam, this is exactly the source for this halacha. It's not an exception to the rule, it is the rule. When the Torah says, I don't care if fast Torah is an Eshes Ish, it's telling me I don't care about any Goy if she's Eshes Ish or not. Either she's allowed or she's not allowed. It's not a factor, Eshes Ish. And we saw other explanations too, that there is an assay of Dovak Yishtav Lebeshet Chaveroi. The Ritva says something very interesting. Ritva, have you ever heard of the Ritva? The Ritva says as follows. The Ritva says, Enochinami, it does make a difference whether she's Jewish or not, whether she's married or not. However, if she's married, she has a family back home. She has a family. How are you going to convert her to another religion where a husband back home and you force her against her husband, right? That seems to be not nice. And therefore, that woman most probably will be even less willing to go along. The Chiddush is you can still take her even though she's an Eshes Ish. Yeah, and you can still convert her because we convert her Baal Korcha. Is that a good thing to do? No. Is the Torah happy about it? No. But the Torah says, listen, you want to go to the Yetzer Hara? We allow you to go to the Yetzer Hara, but you'll have to bear the consequences. The children that came from a fast Torah are not good kids. See under Absalom. How do you say Absalom in real language? Absalom? You see Absalom, the son of David HaMelech, didn't give him Atnachas. So that's what happens. So it's not a good thing. But Lamaisa, even if she's married, you may take her and convert her Baal Korcho. Ad kan yefas Torah. Good? Fine. Don't try it at home. Tana Rabbanon, right? Yeah, I don't think the wives would be happy. That's true. Shlomo made a good point that Lamaisa fast Torah is limited to when you have a milchama, but I don't know. Today, I don't know if it applies. I don't think so. Tana Rabbanon, right? Im Amar Yoimar. We're back to the regular Eved Ivri. Eved Ivri, what's with Eved Ivri? He has the option to prolong his Avdus. If he says what? Im Omar Yoimar HaEved, let's see the pasuk inside. Im Omar Yoimar HaEved, Ohavti es Adonis Ishti Vesbonai, Loi Etze Chofshi. If the Eved Omar Yoimar, I love my Adoni, my master, my wife and my children, Loi Etze Chofshi, I am not interested in becoming a free person. I want to stay here until when can he stay? Yovel, very good. Tanrabanon, im Omar Yoimer. It says twice Omar Yoimer, which means that he has to say that statement twice. Ad sheyoimer v'yishne. He has to say twice the statement Ohavti es Adonis ishti v'esbonai. Not once, but twice. The question is when. Continues the Brisa. Omar betchilas shesh. The Brisa has a havamin and a maskono. There are two ways to read the Brisa. Reading number one. Omar betchilas shesh, v'loy Omar besof shesh. He said that statement at the beginning of the 6 years. He just stepped in and he said, "Ahavti es Adonis ishti v'esbonai." Right? He came through the door. first day at work, and he says, I loved already my master, my wife, and my children. Eino nirtza. So then we don't, if he only said it then we don't do Retzia at the end of 6 years. Shenema, because it says, Loi etze chofshi. It says, I don't want to become free. What does it mean? I will not go out. Ad shomer b'shas yetzia. That is to say, you can't make that statement, even to repeat that statement at the beginning of the 6 years won't work. Why? It says Loi etze. Who's asking you to go out? You just started the job. Have you ever seen the people? Something just started. That's when is it over? That's not very inviting, right? The Shabbos meal begins. So the teenager asks, "Till when are we eating today? What's going on? Not by me. Yeah, right. In other words, In other words, we just started. What are you talking about when you say Lo Yitzchofshi? Lo Yitzchofshi is only when you leave, right? So don't talk about that at the beginning. Omar b'shas yetzia. So when does he have to say it? When he's about to leave, or maybe when he's already supposed to be out at the end of 6 years. Omar b'sof shesh v'lo Omar b'tchilas shesh. Let's say he said at the end of the 6 years lo yetzechofshi, and he did not say it at the beginning. Also in a nirtza, he should not be nirtza. Why? Shenemar im Omar yomer ha'eved. The eved has to say it when he's an eved. When ad sheyomer keshehu eved, it says when the eved says lo yitzchofshi. But if the 6 years are over, then what? Then he's not an eved anymore. So it has to be a time which is not too early, not too late. So we think, right? So when is it? Omar Mar. But now we're going to analyze what we just said in the brisa and see that a few things in this brisa just don't make sense. Omar Mar. Omar betchilas shesh, v'lo Omar besof shesh eino nirtza. We're quoting the brisa, explaining, showing the seeming faults of the brisa. Omar betchilas shesh v'lo Omar besof shesh. Right? He said, I don't want to go. I love my master, etc. He said it at the beginning of 6 years and not at the end. Eino nirtza. Why? Shenema loy etze chofshi. It says loy etze chofshi. I'm not interested in leaving. That is only when you have an option to leave. And if you said it too early, when leaving was not an option, then you're talking empty talk. Frag the Gemara, is that the reason why? Why do you have to come out to this diuk of loy etze chofshi that he only says it when he's about to leave? Kepukle, I'll give you another simpler reason. The ba'inan aftis adonis ishtives bonai beleka. I'll give you another reason. The Eved has to say, and this is, by the way, answering a question of someone who asked yesterday, a question of somebody over here. Yeah, it has to be that the Eved says, I love, already created the situation of love, of good trust and love between me and my master, my wife, and my children. Veleka. On the first day and job, there is no such thing. He was given the Shifcha Knainis. Let's say it's morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, he arrives. He's only going to meet her 9 o'clock in the evening. Who do you love so much that you don't want to leave? You love her so much after half a second? What the Hollywood over here? Yeah, he was not even married to her. How do you know you love your master? Because he had a big smile on his face. Just first second. Yeah, love at first sight. We don't believe in that. Leica, there's no ahavti yet at the first second he came to work. So anyhow, there's no situation. It is impossible to say ahavtis adonis ishtiv esbonai or your first day at work. The two. And another reason, another question we have in the Bryce, and now from the other side. Omer besoif shesh, v'lo omer betchilas shesh, eno nirtza. At the end of the 6 years, and not at the beginning of 6 years, right? If he only said it besoif shesh and not at the beginning, that's not good. That statement is too late. He can't be rotzea him. Can't then pierce the ear and make him stay there for good. Why? Shenemar ha'eved. Because it says ha'eved, you have to be in a state of avdus, you have to be still a servant and eved when you make the statement. Wait a second. Atu soif shesh lav evedu. Listen to the words. It didn't say achar shesh, soif shesh. Yeah? Let's say we are at the end of Shiur. If I'm going to give a call, someone says we are at the end of Shiur. It's not after Shiur. It's not 9:30. It's 9:23, right? That's the end of Shiur. So if you say that it is the soif avdus, the end tail of the avdus is still an eved. It's not true what you're saying. The Brisa says you can't make the statement at the end of the avdus because it still has to be an eved. He's still an eved. He's still an eved. So this whole Brisa is just very unclear. So we had two questions on the Brisa. When you say that he can't say it at the beginning because of what? Because lo yetze, not true. You can't say at the beginning, I love my wife. You don't yet have a wife. How do you know you love her? And even if yes, it's a marriage of half a second. You love her so much already. You want to stay with her forever. How do you know? And secondly, you can't say it at the end. Why? Because it's too late. It's not too late. At the end of the Avdus is still the final part of the Avdus, but the game is not over yet. Omar Rova, therefore says Rova as follows. And by the way, let's remember that he does have to say it twice. In Omar Yoimar doesn't mean surely say. Omar Yoimar means he shall say and say again. Omar Yoimar. He does have to make the statement twice. The question is when, right? If you don't say it at the beginning or the end, tell me why not. Yeah, he's still an Eved at the beginning, right? In other words, at the beginning, it's too early. I get it. Maybe you should say it twice at the end, right? Yeah, why not say it at the end? Why are you again saying it at the end? Yeah, he's still an Eved. Therefore, says Rove, when does he make the two statements? Please skip the round brackets as we always do. And Rove says something very simple. There are many explanations here. Afal Rashi. Betchilas pruta achroina, besoif pruta achroina. Now, this is Rashi against Rambam. It says Rashi as follows. It's true and it's not true. I want to ask you a question. The word pruta is a word which appears many, many times in this Masechta, right? And we spoke about the fact that sometimes pruta, let's say pruta is, it's not true what I'm telling you. It's not true. It's not true. I'm just giving a clear example. Let's say pruta is 10 shekels worth. It's not, but let's say, okay? Big inflation, 10 shekels, okay? Now, let's say an hour of work with the Eved does is 30 shekels, not science fiction, okay? 30 shekels, that's what he does per hour. I mean, he doesn't get the money because he's an Eved. So how much is 10 shekels? A third of an hour, right? Okay? A third of an hour, 20 minutes. Let's say it's the last 20 minutes of the Eved's time by the Odoin. It's been 5 plus long years, and now we are right before the last unit, which is Shove Pruta, which is worth a Pruta of the Eved, okay? So once you have that unit Shove Pruta, and now he has, let's say, 20 minutes to go to wash the floor and clean the dishes, right? So if it's 19 minutes or 19 and a half minutes, it's less than Shove Pruta. On one hand, he's still working there. On the other hand, he's not exactly an Eved anymore because his Avdus is Pochos Mishve Pruta. It's a very interesting situation. He still has to work because he's committed for 6 years. Yeah, if somebody owes you $1 million, he has to give you $1 million until the very last cent, right? Okay, even if last cent is less than Shve Pruta. So he still owes the scratching and cleaning for Balabais, but that unit is less than Shve Pruta, which means he's not exactly an Eved. Oh, that is the cool part here. It's the end and it's not the end. Says the Gemara as follows. When the Brisa says originally he has to say twice, one at the beginning and one at the end, it doesn't mean beginning of 6 years. How can you say you love your wife, which you didn't marry or barely married at the beginning of 6 years? How do you know? She's a Shifra Knainis, yeah? And the kids, he doesn't have kids. You have kids, you don't have kids with her. Maybe you'll have tonight. You'll start 9 months, not before. Elamai, beginning means the beginning of the end. The first time you say is a little bit before, or actually according to some, anytime towards the end, before that Shove Pruta period. I decided, let's say it's 20 minutes, right? And then again after that Shove Pruta already started. Yeah. When the meter is ticking and now he achieved the moment, we reached the moment when he's less than Shove Pruta, let's say 19 minutes is below the Shove Pruta value / time, right? And now he should say again after Sishti Sadon Vesbonai. And that's what the Brisa meant at the beginning and at the end. Beginning means when he's still a full Eved, he still has an entire Shove Pruta value of time that he owes Balabais. Before that comes to an end, before that Shove Pruta started, he still owes him Shove Pruta or more. But he already has good relationship with his wife. He has a wife, he has a child who could be 4 years old already, 4.5, right? And he loves his master, such nice treatment. Then he should say then after and then afterwards, quickly before Shove Pruta is over, but he still owes less than Shve Pruta. That's called on one hand the end of the Avdus, and on the other hand it's not. Yeah, because on one hand, he's still working, he's still there working. He didn't completely leave. Once the entire 6 years are over, too late. We said that already, right? Once it's 6 years are completely out, out. You can't say after Sishti finished, Doni Sishti. But when you still are working there, but the value of the time that you work is less than Shve Pruta, and that happy moment, say again, after Sadoni Sishti Vezbonai, Lo Yitzchofshi. So you need two times. One before the Shve Pruta is done, and one after where the taximeter, the meter is ticking less than Shve Pruta. Then you say again after Sishti Sadoni Sishti Vezbonai. These are the two times you have to say. I don't know if it has to be that way. It seems to be Gzer Sakosuv. Maybe it means to show that he's very decisive, that he knows what he's talking about. That also makes sense. I think maybe the idea is that it's not just an emotional burst of love. It has to be something that he, repeats twice in different situations to make sure that he really means what he says. That's what we say over here. And by the way, we see here, and we're going to see later, that is the only reason he's allowed to stay, because of the Odon, the wife, and the children. But if he stam likes to stay there, and not because of those things, or because he's scared of the world outside or going back to poverty, then it's not a reason to stay. No, it has to be dafka the reasons written by the Holy Torah. Good, the Seder. Yeah, Dono Abonim. Our rabbis taught Braisa all kinds of other conditions to do with when the Eved can prolong his stay, when can he not. Dono Abonim. Lo isho bonim, velaraba ein isho bonim. What happens if he has wife and children, the shifcha knainis and the klein knainim, yeah, and the rav, meaning the master, doesn't have a wife and kids. Yeah, it's a single guy. The master is a single guy, no wife, no kids, b'chlal. Yeah, not thinking we're getting married right now. Didn't yet find the shidduch, and he has an Eved Ivri, and the Eved Ivri has a shifcha knainis and the ganze mishpacha. So why can't he be nirtza? Look, eino nirtza. No. He cannot be nirtza. Why not? Shenemar ki ahevcha ve'esbeisecha. Wow. It says he has to love you and your household. Yeah, which means he has to love the situation of being with you and your family. He needs to be comfortable and like the family, and not only the master alone. Ahavcha ve'esbeisecha. What's esbeisecha? Like the Hasidim say, by my house means that my wife. Yeah, he has to like the whole family, the wife, children of the Odon. Even the Odon has to have children. Only if the Odin has a proper family and the Eved likes his family and he likes the Odin's family, that's a reason to stay. Otherwise, no. What about the other way around? Let's say the master has wife and children. Let's say the Eved, has no isho bonim. He doesn't have wife and children. He doesn't have retzia if he doesn't have shifcha knainis and her children. Why? Shenema, ohavti sadoni, sishti vezbonai. Yeah, he has to say, I love my master, my wife, and my children. Question, which I had, and I saw in one of the Rishonim, I'm not sure who actually, I saw a few people. What's a Kiddush? It's before Shana Torah. Why does Brass have to tell me that? It says, yeah, he has to say, I love my master, wife, and children. So why is the Brass answering something that's Pashup Pshat? Yeah, I think I knew that when I was in elementary school, we learned that already. Answers, and this is one of the questions we asked yesterday. One may think that it's only an example. One would think, let's say the Eved wants to stay extra because he likes the food, he likes the color of the wall, he likes the fancy house. He doesn't want to go back to the slums where he came from. He doesn't like his mother-in-law, and here she doesn't come to visit. It's a mother-in-law free zone. All kinds of reasons why he likes it. The cholent, yeah, I don't know what. The color of the kippah of the balabais. Comes the Bryce and tells me, no, Ishti, Adon Ishtu Bona are not just examples. That should be the reason and the only reason he wants to stay, right? Then he should stay. Okay? Otherwise, no. If he's lying, that's a good question, but we assume he doesn't. As long as he declares twice, I love the master and wife and children, we believe him, and we allow him to stay longer. Who oyev now the relationship between the rabbi, not the rav, it's the master, the owner, and the eved. Who oyev rabbi, the rabbi eno oyevoy. Let's say he likes the master, but the master doesn't like him. The master doesn't like that eved. Yeah, it's not exactly in love with eved. The eved doesn't like the eved. He breaks his dishes all the time. Eno nirtza. Wow, he's not allowed to be nirtza. We don't do retzia. Let's say they come to Beis Din and the Odin says, I don't like him. I want him to go. Finished. I was waiting for 6 years for that moment. Yeah. Then what? Eino nirtza. You don't make him stay longer. How do you know? How do you know? Shenema ki toiv lo imoch. It says he should feel good and comfortable with you. Yet with you, he can only feel good with another person when it's reciprocal relationship, mutual. Otherwise, if you love him, he doesn't love you. That's not called imoch. It's very self-centered on the Eved side. Now, Rabbi Oyavoy, Vehu Eino Oyavis Rabbi. Let's say the other way around. The master likes him very much. He's a great worker, great guy. He doesn't like the Rav. He doesn't like the master. Then Eino Nirtza. Again, he's not Nirtza. Shenemar ki ahevcho. Yeah, because he has to like you. If he doesn't like you, then no. Again, it's not just an example. It's a real prerequisite. It's a real condition that he should love you, love your family, and he should love his family. Everyone should love each other. It's all one big happy family. Now, another detail. I don't know what that means. I mean, I think I know what choyle means. I don't know if it's choyle now or always choyle. I looked in the Rambam, it's not so clear. Let's say he is sick, physically sick, and the Rav is not sick, meaning the master is well, and the Eved, Ivri, is unwell, is choyle, is sick, is ill, is unwell. Eino nirtza. Even if they love each other and everybody loves, Lamaisa, if he is sick, the Eved is ill in the house of the Odoin, yeah, he's not nirtza. Why not? Why can't he continue? Shneimar ki toiv lo imoch. It says toiv lo imoch, to be in a good situation. It's not enough to just like the Odoin. He has to be in a good state of mind and body and soul. He has to be in a good mental and physical state. Also physical toiv imoch. If he's not in a situation of toiv, why isn't he toiv? He's sick. He's all the time with a thermometer in the mouth. Yeah. So then what? He's not toiv. He doesn't stay. Again, I don't know if he means only towards the end of the Avdus or the majority of the time of the Avdus. I haven't seen Pshat in the Rishonim, but if he's sick at some point, I don't know, significantly sick, significant amount of time, then he may go. He doesn't stay there. What about the other way? Rabbi choyle vehu eino choyle. Let's say the master is sick and he's not sick. Well, the master is sick. What does that have to do with anything? Yes. Everything is good. Everyone loves each other. He's well and healthy and robust, the Eved. The master is, sick and bad half the time. Since the Eved came, he became sick all the time. I don't know. Still, just because the master is sick, that's another reason not to let the Eved stay longer. Shenema imach, with you. It's mutual. In other words, both of them have to be in an equally good state of mind and body, right? And if the master is not feeling well, he's a choyle, then you don't let the Eved stay. Maybe it's psychosomatic, maybe something with the presence of the Eved causes the Odin to be sick. I don't know, but it's not considered a moch. Give me one more minute and then I'll hear your question. Boy Rav Bevai Barabai. Here Rav Bevai Barabai comes with an interesting chakira. By the way, as I tell you many times, this name is not Bibi, with all the respect to our Rosh HaMemshala. It's Beivai. That's what the Achronim said during your brachas. Boy Rav Bevai Barabai. If you hear a yeshivish guy saying Bibi Barabai, please correct him. Boy Rav Bevai Barabai. Question of Bevai, son of Abaye. Shneim choylin mai. Let's say both master and Eved, both are sick, equally sick. They both got meningitis. I don't know, they got something, bronchitis. They both have the same sickness. What's halacha? Then it's not so simple. Do we say imach bainan va'ika? They're both together. Imach means with you. In other words, misery likes company. I'm sick and he is sick. We're both sick together. I'm not better than him. He's not better than me. We're relatively good. We're on the same page. Yeah, we're on the same page. It's not like one of us is going to the gym every day and the other one is in bed all day long. We're both in bed, each one in his own bed, sick in bed. We're equally relatively good. Yeah, good is a very relative thing. So maybe it's good enough that one of them is not better than the other. No, or maybe not. He needs to be toiv, real toiv. It's not enough to have imoch to be the same as you are. It's not a point just equalizing their state of mind, state of body. It has to be toiv, and to be sick is not toiv. Yeah, if you speak objectively speaking, it's not toiv to be sick. It's not. They're not good together. They're together, but they're not good together. They're both sick. Teiku. We don't know what the halacha is, and this is it for now. I don't remember. I actually saw the Rambam yesterday. I don't remember what it says about both of them being sick, but Lamaisa, Okay, when you get an Eved Ivri, we're going to discuss the question again. If both of you are sick, what do? You let him stay or not? Question time. Peanut Gallery is first, and then Britain. We go to America, then Britain. Oh, so we just spoke twice here already about the fact that the Odon has to treat the Eved very nicely. It says Kitoiv lo imoch. It's good for him to be with you. Imach b'maichal, imach b'mishter. He has to be with you when it comes to food and drinks. What does that mean? Shelo tehe ata oichel pas nekia v'hu oichel pas keva. This has to be learned properly. You, Mr. Mester, Mr. Odo, the upper class guy, you're the boss. You should not eat pas nekia back then as opposed to today. White flour was considered as good, as more refined. Yeah, it was clean. Yeah, you don't eat the nice white bread. Well, he eats pas kebar. Pas kebar is the pas that's full of the bran. Today it's very healthy. It probably costs more. But in the classical agricultural society of back then, pas kebar is low class bread. Bekitzer, you shouldn't have your sushi. You shouldn't have your pas nekia, your very fancy whatever bread, your French baguette with all the fancy things, and he eats some kind of, the old bread from Angel's bread from 3 days ago. Pas kebar, don't give him that. I'm giving these examples on purpose. Soon you'll know why. Don't drink the nice old wine, older, better, fine wine, while you give him the new wine, which is significantly less. Don't do that. Don't sleep over muchin, which is the very nice, fancy cushions and mattresses that are nice and comfortable, orthopedic. And he sleeps where? On the teven, mamish on the hay. Don't let him sleep on the hay. Don't do that. Mikan Omru. From here, they came with the following statement: Chazal wanted. That's what I think the statement is coming to say. Chazal wanted people to dissuade people from buying Eved Ivri. In other words, sometimes Eved Ivri has to be sold, but Eved Ivri, but when Beis Din sells him because he has no choice, right? But normally speaking, to buy an Eved Ivri that wants to sell himself is not so recommended, because you're only allowed to sell yourself as an Eved when you really have nothing else to eat. You really are very, very chas v'shalom down and out. So to start the whole trafficking business, Eved Ivri, people buying themselves Eved Ivri, is not such a great idea. We're not encouraging a slave-oriented society. Yeah, we're not in southern states. How many years ago? 200 years ago? We're not there yet. So now, wait a second. And therefore, we tell, listen, you're buying yourself an Eved Ivri, it's a liability. It's a big liability. You're buying yourself a master. You have to make sure that if you eat something, he also eats well. You have to really give him a lot of workers' rights, social rights. It's a big headache for the employer, right? Like today's in companies, right? Some people have, an issue. All the workers demands the rights, right? It's a headache for the boss. So be aware of that. Here comes the big machlokas Rishonim. One of the Rishonim, I apologize for forgetting who says what already, but I think it's the Ritva, or one of the Rishonim says as follows. If you follow the words of the Brisa, what does it say? Make sure you don't eat the fancy bread. Well, eat pas keba. Pas keba is really low class bread. Yeah, or let's say the bed. Don't sleep over the nice, cushions and mattresses and the 20,000 shekels mattress. Well, he sleeps on the hay. What about the middle road? What about middle of the road? What about if I sleep on something really fancy? The guy is a millionaire. The Mr. Owner, he has the fanciest sushi and the fanciest steaks every night. He has really good meal. And he wants to give his Eved some decent meal. Meat and potato, regular chicken, which in Israel is very middle of the road kind of food, as you know. He wants to give him something normal. That's Machlokes Rishonim. According to many Rishonim, he doesn't really have to live up to par with the Baal Habais. Kebar and Teven don't treat it like an Eved Knaini. In Eved Knaini, you can give the lowest kind of treatment. You're not supposed to hit him and be cruel to Eved Knaini, says the Rambam. But Lamaisa, I can give the Eved Knaini the minimum. I can tell him sleep on the thin mattress, sleep on the minimum, even below our standards of our society, eat the simplest food and work and finish. You're captive usually. I don't have to treat you so nicely. Chamasnik, I don't know what it is. Now, Mashenken Eved Ivri has to be treated fairly, and even if I eat my foie gras and I'm eating my very fancy food, I don't have to give him foie gras. I'm just supposed to give him something that's nice and decent, normal fresh bread, normal nice fresh salad, whatever is normal in that society, cereal, something middle of the road. That's what many Rishonim believe. The Rambam says no. The Rambam says you have to give him mamish the same as you. If you eat pasyonim, says the Rambam, give him pasyonim. Pasyonim, I think, are quail. You give him, you eat like real fancy food, fancy meat, whatever, like in Israel, right, whatever, yeah, the fancy food, whatever, some big chosh of a steak every day you eat, yeah, they have to give him big chosh of a steak to the Odin, to the Eved. So that's a machlokes Rishonim. But everyone agrees you can't go to the lowest wrong. That for sure you cannot do to the Eved Ivri. Okay. Tano Abonon, Alocha Lamaisa, I don't know. Tano Abonon, Beyotza Me'imach, Hu Ubonov Imoy. It says when he leaves together with his children. So now, it does not mean that which children leave the house of the master. Please enlighten me, says the Brisa. And I'll tell you something before even we see it in the Gemara. Do you mean to say which children does he have, this man? If he didn't stay for 6 years, right? Then what? Yotzu Bonov. Wait. This guy has 2 wives, right? He has the Shifcha Knainis and he has children with her, which he does or doesn't like. And he also has his other family out there of wife and children. Who goes out? Mimanavshach. If you're talking about the children from the Shifcha Knainis, they stay. It's Mefurish. Yeah. Isha, she'll be to the Odon. Isha Viladea Yula Adoneo. Yeah, in other words, the Shifcha Knaini stays there, and the Knaini children, the Kleine Zise Knaini children, they stay avodim Knainim to who? To the Odon. So they don't leave. That's why he is so torn between his new family and his freedom. So sometimes he opts to stay. And if you talk about his children from the outside, whoever let them in, they were never in the picture. Only the father is in 6 years program. So which children go out? Let's see how the Bryce asks the question. I'm repeating the pasuk on purpose. The Yotzam Imach, who Ubonov Imoy, him and his children with him leave the Odon. Exactly what you're talking about. Amr Shimon, Imhu Nimkar, Bonov Ubnoisov Minim Korim. He was sold, but his sons and daughters, were they ever sold? They're not sold. The father, let's say, stole. So now for 6 years he's by the other uncle, by the other daddy, as we would call him. They stay home. They go to school every day. Mikan, that comes to tell you, it comes to tell you that the master owes, or the master is obligated to feed and sustain his children. Yeah, in other words, the children of the Eved Ivri are financially sustained and supported, and they're supposed to be by the master. So the master who bought an Eved Ivri is supposed to take care of his family. Who will take care of them? The father is not. What? Yes. The Yiddish is a Kinderlach. He's supposed to support them because their father is not there to support them. He becomes instead of the father. He's now in lieu of the father. And we'll see more on that. And there's also Rishonim here. Similar to that, we see a similar concept. Which wife leaves when he leaves and his wife leaves also? Which? The Shifcha Knainis, before she doesn't. She stays there. The Knainis is forever. And his wife, she never came in. His wife stayed home. As I told you, the wife is not sold. It's just the husband. Lahavdil, when people go to jail, that's the biggest tragedy. The family stays behind and they're suffering. So his wife is back home. What does she have to do with the price of cheese? Mikan, it's coming to tell you that the master is supposed to sustain his wife. So we have 2 psukim. One pasuk tells me that the master is supposed to support the Eved Ivri's wife out there. He's supposed to support his children out there. Before we continue and explain why we need both psukim, so let me tell you 2 interesting things. First of all, the Rishonim ask, why is he supposed to support? We're talking about the Oraisa. This is the Oraisa. This is all halachos which we learn, we derive and infer from the Torah. The Oraisa, as opposed to today's society and as opposed to Tekonos Usha, people are not meant to support the children beyond the age of 6. Here, Bonav Ubnoisov sounds till Bar Mitzvah. Shtanim, Bonim Bonois. Midoraisa, a man at the age of 6 can tell his child, go work. Go sell, I don't know, marbles in the street. Go clean the chimneys, English style. Do whatever you want, right? And I'm not supposed to support you. Much later, Chazal in Ksubas Memtes and then Daf Nun, Chazal basically established that people are supposed to support the children until Bar Mitzvah or even till later. Yeah? But Midoraisa, you're not supposed to. So what are we talking about over here? Yeah, if the Eved himself is not supposed to support his children beyond 6, So why is the master supposed to? And the answer of the Rishonim, unbelievable, is we're being pragmatic. Lemaisa, even in the times of the Torah, most people would support their children. They're not mechuyev, but they would. It's a done thing. The done thing was that he supports them, and that's what the Torah assumes. It's not mechayiv you to do that, but he assumes you do that. Yeah, I assume you brushed your teeth last night, even though it's not an ischiyuv dorais. I assume you did. Yeah, so some things you do, even if not mechuyev. And therefore, who is now instead in lieu of the father, the supporter, the head of the family? It's the master. Another interesting fact: it works both ways. What about if his wife is a working girl? She's working. The wife of the Eved Ivri, she has a job. She's a, I don't know, she's a teacher, she's a lawyer, I don't know, she has some kind of work. What about that? So she's supposed to give her, she is now has the agreement with the Odoin. Because the Odoin supports her and gives her more money than she makes, we assume she's supposed to give her money and anything she finds in the street, and so do the children to the master, because the master is instead of the father. Just like Rabbanan instituted that the man who supports his wife supposed to give him all her money in return. So too, the Ma'adon is now instead of the father for all purposes. He steps in both directions. He gives them, he supports them nicely, like the father, maybe even better. And they, in return, have to give him their money, not to create Ava, not to create hatred, as the Gemara says in Ksubas Daf Nun Zayin, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the Gemara is asking a question. We have two psukim. One pasuk to tell me that he, the Odoin, supports the wife of the Eved, and also supports the children of the Eved. Why do you need two psukim? Why can't you just figure out yourself? If the Torah would tell me, if the Torah would have told me that he supports the wife, I would see it. I would say also the children. The Torah would have told me the children. I would figure out myself the wife. No. V'tzricha. We need both psukim to be written separately. Why? Dia shmuin and bonov. Let's say the Torah would have told me that the children go out, meaning go out of the responsibility of the master. How do we know, by the way, that the Adon supports the children of the Eved Ivri? It doesn't say it. It says that they go out with him, meaning they go out of the responsibility of the master, right? The master, when the 6 years are over, he's now he lets out a sigh. He sighs. How do you call it? The kids are breathers freely now. Why? Sigh of relief. I meant to say. Why? Because Lamaisa now his bank account is healthier. He doesn't have to support the wife and children of the Eved Ivri. That's what it means. They go out. They go out, meaning they're out of his responsibility. Let them now deal with themselves. The daddy's back home. I'm out of their picture. I don't have to support them. Now, v'tzricha, diashmin and bonov. Had the Torah only told me that the children are supported by the Odoin, the children are people that cannot work and eat in return. In other words, children in most cases are not as employable, can't work as well as an adult, right? They're much more limited. They don't tend to work outside, go to the office and work. And therefore, I would have said, listen, they cannot support themselves. Miskanim, the children can't just go out and work. You can't assume that let's go and work, children. The father is in the 6 years program by the Odoin. How can they work? Makes sense. The Torah says, Zisa kindalach, hevrach monus, and then feed them. Aval ishtoi, the bas mechal mebadi. The wife, she may eat mechal and support herself. In other words, she eats and she works, meaning she can cover her own expenses. Get a job. You're an adult woman. Go get a job. What's the problem? Maybe the master can tell, I'm supposed to support you. Your husband used to spoil you. I don't believe in that. I believe in women going out to work. I'm a modern guy. I think you should go and work and leave me alone, says the Odon to the wife. Kamash Malan, we don't say that. The Kiddush is that the wife, too, we say that the Odin supports her and we don't expect her to support herself. If she wants to, maybe. But if she says, no, I'm sorry, I can't work and I want you, Mr. Master, to support me, we support her, excuse the pun, and he supports the wife. Now, v'yeshmin and ishtoi. So why can't the Torah just tell me that he supports the wife, and I would say, kol sheken, he supports the children who are less employable. Just tell me, support the wife. And kol sheken support the little kids who are 5, 6 years old. Kol sheken. Says the Gemara, no, there's an opposite svara. You know, some people, they don't work. What do? They go and beg. Instead of working, they go and they beg for money the whole life. The lav dirka le'aduri. A wife, she cannot go round and round and ask for tzedakah. Very degrading for a woman to go out there and actually ask for tzedakah. So therefore, the wife, yeah, let's say she says I can't work, to beg is not an option by me, and therefore makes sense that you please you support me. And the Torah says yes, support the woman. It's not sanua, not respectable for a woman to start begging around. Aval bonov the dirkayu le'aduri. Children, it's less disrespectful for children to go out and beg for money. Today we live in a very children idolizing society. But the liba them is the kids. Kids are running around, they run around the neighborhood, they don't mind so much, or more like free spirit. Go and beg for money from around. They're less busha. They don't know why it's a busha to be poor. They wouldn't mind as much. Amaloi, I would say, I, the master, why should I support them? I support the woman. She's not going to go beg and be a penhandler. But the children, let them beg, let them ask for money. They garner a lot of sympathy. So maybe I don't have to give them. Sricha. That's what the Torah had to tell me, that both the woman and the children, the wife and the children, the Eved Ivri, both are supported by the Odoin of the Eved Ivri. Because why? Neither working nor begging is a good option for neither of them unless they chose to. But if they say, no, we're not interested in working, my father / my husband supported me all the time till now. Yeah, that's the way we're used to it. Don't send me to work and don't send my children to beg. And therefore, you, Mr. Master, you support us, we support them, and he really is supposed to give them the money. He's supposed to sustain them as long as Eved Ivri is with him. And that's the Yetzia. Once the 6 years are done, they are also out, meaning they're out of the checkbook, they're out of the account of the Baal Habais. That's what it means. Yeah, good. Yes, if she makes less than him. In other words, in the times of the Gemara, we assumed that the husband makes more money than the wife, which is not always true today. And therefore, since the Torah says that a husband is supposed to support his wife, right, and he gives her more money than she makes, right? Mimela, the Chazal Chazal established, and they said, because the husband may feel Ava, may feel animosity towards his wife, and it happens today. He says, I'm working myself off, I'm working very hard. I travel every day in the subway all the way from Brooklyn to Manhattan. I work so hard, hours. What does she do all day long? Yeah, she still works a little bit, and she keeps the money. What a chutzpah. I work so hard to support her. She makes a bit of money in secretarial job in Brooklyn, and even that little bit she doesn't give me, she doesn't give the family. It's not right. And therefore, Chazal instituted Mashikon because she supported, yeah, we assume she gets more, she should give her salary to him, and that should be part of the family's budget. That's the assumption. Same thing over here. If the Odon is instead of the Eved, he became the financial head of the family, right? The Odon. Same thing. The Odon says to the woman, "You're not my wife, nothing to do with you. But if I support you on a monthly basis and I give you whatever you need, and I see that you make a nice 4,000 shekels, let's say, please give them to me. Yeah, I want that. I want this to be balanced. Yeah, I may now have a nicer bread to give your husband. Yeah, you're still connected. Okay, we'll finish here, and maybe tomorrow say something about Chanukah. Not now. Okay, Hatzlachu bracha. We're punkt. Don't know about it. Tomorrow 9:30, 9:30, 9:30, 9:30. By the request of some people, it is Rosh Chodesh. I'll talk about Rosh Chodesh and Chanukah B'li. So tomorrow Rosh Chodesh, Bezos Hashem, 9:30 instead of 9:25. Yeah, is that late enough? I think so. Yeah. Okay, Hatzlachu. Thank you very much, and a good Chanukah and Geula Shlema. Thank you.